So this is my presentation on War of the Worlds. I'm Brennan Bazazzi. It's great to get a chance to present this to you guys. Bear with me as I wasn't able to get Yuja to actually process the video, so I'm going this way. So the theme I chose is disconnected from reality. Following the invasion, it's very understandable to feel disconnected from reality. Following a Martian attacks, it makes sense that humans felt minuscule and questioned reality because these Martians came in and humans have been at the top of the food chain for so long and have dominated the world. And out of nowhere, Martians come in, take over the world, and prove how much stronger and bigger they really are than humans and how they can deplete the human population in just a couple days here. So it felt humans feeling like nothing, minuscule. And the theme in particular is disconnected. So following something like this happening, it makes sense. Like, it's a traumatic experience, and it's easy to feel alone and as if reality isn't real because everything that you've believed for so long honestly isn't even true anymore because humans believed that they were the top for so long, and now they felt as if reality wasn't real. So it's easy to feel disconnected. The passage I chose was I began to contemplate or compare the things that had happened to myself with those that had happened to others, and to estimate the proportionate value of everything. I wandered about the garden and found myself alone, and suddenly, with the sense of the disconnection of all that had happened, came a strange feeling of detachment from myself and the world. And that's basically just the narrator saying how he really can't feel connected with society anymore, and he really does feel detached, tying into that theme. Like I said, these emotions are very understandable because he had just experienced a situation where the reality and world that he felt connected to previously no longer exists. This new fear and this new example with the Martians invading is something that he had never experienced before, and now he has to live with that newfound fear. So it really does make sense for him to feel disconnected and as if the world isn't real because everything that had been real to him up to this point isn't real anymore. It's hard to connect yourself with a world that what you believed before wasn't what you believe now. So that's why he feels as if he feels disconnected from society. So this is just an example of trauma. It's real life trauma, and that's the narrator experience and those others who involved. He had to run for his life to survive, and barely survived at that. And he's now emotionally numb. He feels alone. He feels as if it's just him on this world. And like the society he once believed in no longer exists. So that leaves him feeling detached, as this new fear that he has not been processed. It's really hard to process this new fear and everything that happened. And sometimes when people experience trauma, you can never process it because it's something that you never expected to happen. And the world you once believed in, like I said, it's not the same. So personally, I want to connect this to the real world, I guess, and to my own experiences. But it's hard to compare this part because you can't really be like, because I didn't experience a Martian invasion, obviously. But it's very real, like trauma is real. And I want to compare this to like large scale disasters, like as if I haven't been involved in one, but like a tsunami. Like if a human's like been through a tsunami or something, like they had to run for their life, obviously it's gonna hard to feel like life is real. It's like everything you live for just to be wiped away by one bad natural disaster. So that one person might be very fearful and not want to go near oceans now because of that fear. And it's hard to live alone with yourself with that fear. That can lead them to feel very detached. I want to compare this to the movie The Maze Runner. I didn't watch the book. I think there is one, but the movie Maze Runner, basically these people who have to escape this maze that is right here, that is their whole goal. They're trapped on this little block of land where they can survive. They have everything they need to live. However, they start getting less and less supplies. They would get supplies sent up. And long story short, they were eventually able to escape the maze, and that felt like surviving everything. And that almost in my head feels like the narrator escaping the Martians. Like he Like, he survived, he did it. However, when they escaped, it was just a war zone, and the world that he once knew didn't exist. These people have all been in the real world before they were put in this maze, and the world they once knew didn't exist anymore, and it was just a war zone. And that reminds me of how the narrator feels and how he feels detached, because that world he once knew and loved, he can't feel that way anymore, because the sense of detachment and this fear that he has to constantly live with, and the fact that everything he had believed for his whole life, the humans being the top of the food chain, the humans being the most feared, everything like that, just evaporated in one day of the Martians taking over. So I just want to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense to feel out of touch and detached after everything that happened? And I think a bigger thing is like questioning personal significance, like what are we and what do we really mean? I use this structure. This was made to make humans feel as if they were ants, and see, like, these are humans looking up at the structure that depicts the emotions of an ant and feelings. But yeah, that's exactly how I interpreted it. I think everything does make sense. It's really hard to stay connected with a society that doesn't feel real. And it makes very much sense for the narrator to feel as if society isn't real anymore. And I guess this leaves him feeling very alone. And yeah, this is something that we really can't experience as humans, just because we haven't had something like that happen to us. But I guess like the other real life traumas that humans experience makes sense as they get similar emotions, just not on this scale. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.